Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're just going to give it a few more minutes and let more people trickle in while we can, okay? Thanks, y'all.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We're going to go ahead and get started now. People are still coming in, so we're going to start off a little slow here. My name is Cassidy Pate. I currently serve as the Panhellenic president here at Mississippi State. I also would like to take this time to say thank you and send appreciation to our Assistant Vice President of Student Affairs, Student Experience, Dr. Jackie Mullen, and our Director of Fraternity and Sorority Life, John Michael Van Horn, who are also on this call, going to be helping us answer some questions.
Hi guys, my name is Maddie Weldon and I am Director of Recruitment this year.
Hey everyone, my name is Abby Chambliss and I'm serving as the Panhellenic Director of Membership.
And my name's Abby Buck. I'm the Panhellenic Advisor here at Mississippi State.
So, who is who? We are your Panhellenic Executive Council. There are also 7 other members of the Panhellenic Executive Council, 10 of us total. We serve a whole calendar year to help our community. During recruitment, we disaffiliate to better serve the P&Ms throughout this process. Abby is serving as our Director of Membership, and she has trained our Gamma Chi's. We have 52 this year who are also members of our 9 chapters disaffiliated to better serve throughout this process. There's lots of characteristics here on this slide about them. All in all, they are responsible women who are here to serve your daughter throughout this week. The potential new members are P&Ms for short. These are the women that are participating in sorority recruitment. So that's a little bit of overview. Sorry, there you go.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about values-based recruitment. So at Mississippi State University, we use a values-based recruitment process. This process is designed to help our chapters and our potential new members discover shared interests and values, make real connections, and build authentic relationships. As your daughters look forward to the opportunity to join Greek life at MSU, we really encourage them to keep their core values in mind when going through this recruitment process, as this is their chance to not only show chapters who they are, what they're about, but will also allow them to hopefully find these in a potential home here at Greek Life. And then a little bit about mutual selection. So our recruitment process is a mutual selection process. Both incoming students and our individual chapters will have the opportunity to make decisions that best suit their needs and values. All women will attend parties at each of our 9 chapters during the Go Greek round, and from then on will be limited to a maximum of 7, 5, and 2 parties on the remaining 3 days. So throughout each of these rounds, the mutual selection process will occur, allowing both parties to make choices that best fit them. And we truly believe that the mutual selection process is a beneficial process that not only allows our members to share their chapter, but also allows for new members to find a place where they can reach their goals, both in college and in life. A little bit about GPA zones and the academic commitments in sorority life. All chapters require their own GPA to gain and maintain membership. There's no GPA requirement to participate in recruitment. However, Panhellenic has created the following 3 zones based on incoming GPA to help prepare you for what you can expect. You can see these below. It starts in the green zone, so if your daughter has a 3.0 and up, their options are not likely to be limited based on GPA. If it's in the yellow zone, that's a 2.75 to a 2.99. The options are more likely to be limited. And if it's in the red zone, which is a 2.74 and below, your options are very likely to be limited based on your GPA. And your daughter will have already been notified of this before recruitment.
Sorry, some technical difficulties figuring out where my mouse is on here. So as we move on to financial obligations, this is a chart with the semesterly costs associated with each chapter, first as a new member and then later on as an active member. If you visit our website, there's a further breakdown of this number. Here at MSU, we have a high percentage of members who pay all or at least some of their own chapter dues themselves. This financial responsibility is certainly feasible. A lot of our full-time students have on-campus jobs, jobs within the community, or summer jobs to help with the costs. Many of our chapters also offer payment plans to assist students and their families in finding the best plan for them. So encourage your daughter to ask these questions whenever she is going through this process. Again, the chapters will share this financial commitment with your student during the process, and then later do you at their parent sessions. But I encourage you to, as a family, to discuss the expectation of paying this financial commitment because chapters are going to expect you to pay for 4 years. So again, just encourage you to talk about this as a family and with your student.
Next, we're going to talk about meal plans a little bit. So all incoming freshmen are required to have a meal plan here at Mississippi State. They are automatically enrolled in the Ultimate Meal Plan, but for freshmen who receive bids from a chapter, they have the option to switch to the Greek Meal Plan. Since sorority dues include meals at the houses, the Greek meal plan was made so that it kind of balances out, and the cost of meals at the house plus the cost of meals on campus would not surpass the cost of the Ultimate Meal Plan that you are automatically enrolled into. If you want to change your meal plan from the Ultimate Meal Plan to the Greek Meal Plan, after receiving your bid or your daughter's bid, that can be done by contacting Dining Services by August 31st on their website or in person on campus.
So a legacy is a sister, daughter, or granddaughter of a sorority alumna. However, each chapter has different requirements for considering a potential new member a legacy. At one point, being a legacy to an organization was a huge component for young women going through recruitment, but our chapters and their national headquarters have worked really hard to level the playing field as much as possible to where this is no longer the case. Being in Mississippi and at an SEC school in general it is not uncommon for us to have a lot of legacies coming through, right? I have chapters here at MSU that have been here for so long with so many alums having children that they could technically take an entire pledge class of legacies if they wanted, but they're not going to do that. So nowadays, typically legacies are just a courtesy for membership consideration, but chapters are not required to keep legacies. There is no guarantee that if you are a legacy, you will be invited back to that specific chapter. If this applies to you, I encourage you to reach out to your national organization or visit their website to better understand their legacy policy. I understand that it may be important to your family that your student joins or is a part of a specific chapter, but chapters change. And at one time you got to decide which chapter you wanted to join. So I encourage you to offer the same opportunity to your daughter so she can feel confident where she is and not just do what you expect her to do.
So a little bit overview of Recruitment Week and what to expect. This is our schedule for the 10th through the 15th. On the 10th, we'll have our move-in day. If your daughter is not participating in New Maroon Camp, this is when she will move in to her residence hall that she will be living in all year. And then our mandatory potential new member orientation is 5 p.m. in the Union Ballroom. Then August 11th is our Go Greek round. It is virtual. August 12th is philanthropy round. August 13th is sisterhood round. August 14th is preference round. And then this week accumulates on bid day on August 15th.
So we're going to go over that week more in detail. So round 1 is Go Greek at orientation on August 10th. P&Ms will receive their Go Greek day schedules for the following day. On the 11th, they'll log into Campus Director where they registered. They'll follow the Zoom links that are provided by each chapter to enter the party at the designated time. It's important that the P&M creates a Zoom account with the same email she listed as her Zoom email when she registered for recruitment. That'll be on Campus Director. P&Ms will have the opportunity to meet with all 9 of our chapters during this round, and they'll wear the provided Go Greek t-shirt on this day, and they'll get those t-shirts at P&M orientation. So round 2 is Philanthropy Day. Philanthropy schedules will be distributed by the Gamma Chi's on the morning of the 12th in the Junction, which is right outside Davis Wade Stadium. So P&Ms may be invited back to a maximum of 7 chapters during this round. It's completely normal to not be invited back to 7. It's normal to have like 4, 5, any of those numbers. Maximum of 7, not normal. So don't freak out if they don't have those 7 chapters on their schedule. So during these parties, they'll have the opportunity to interact with chapter women and learn about philanthropic efforts. After attending all the parties, the PMs will submit her selection online. Ranking certain preferences does not guarantee that she will or will not be invited back to a particular organization, and she'll wear that specific philanthropy t-shirt on this day as well. So round 3 is Sisterhood Day. So these schedules are also going to be distributed by the Gamma Chi's on the 13th in the Junction. Same as the day before, and so they'll be able to be invited to a maximum of 5 chapters. Again, it's very normal to not be invited to the maximum of 5 chapters. So during these events, they'll learn about the chapter's values, membership commitments, and sisterhood. After attending all the parties, they'll make their selection online again, just like the day before. Ranking certain preferences, again, does not guarantee they will or will not be invited back to that particular organization. And again, for sisterhood, they'll wear their provided t-shirt. Okay, so round 4 is preference. So preference schedules will be distributed by the Gamma Chi's on the morning of the 14th in the Junction, which again is right outside Davis Wade. This will be the same as the days before. So they'll have the opportunity to visit a maximum of 2 chapters on this day. It's not uncommon to be invited back to one organization during this round. So these events may include a mixture of live ceremonies and conversations as well. So both active chapter members and incoming new members will have the opportunity for more intentional and in-depth conversations during this round. After attending all their parties, this time the P&Ms will come to the Union Ballroom to submit their preferred chapter selections in person. So they will also be asked to read and sign a digital and physical membership recruitment acceptance binding agreement. This binding agreement This is a binding agreement and will not change even if they are unhappy with their options. So the suggested dress for the day is attire appropriate for a nice dinner. A dress or a romper that is appropriate for a cocktail event or wedding is suggested as well.
Here are some Recruitment Week outfit ideas with philanthropy, sisterhood, and preference, different options, and just a little bit to look at. And then a little bit about bid day. Bids will be distributed in the Union Ballroom on August 15th. All bids will be distributed there. And then from there, new members will head to the amphitheater to participate in the sorority celebrations. Families are not allowed in the Union Ballroom. It is students only. But we are excited this year to announce that we will be having a virtual option if you and your family cannot attend but still want to participate in bid day a little bit. We're partnering with our MSU TV Center and we'll have a live stream. You have an email or have received an email with that link, and then you can also find the link on their website. Parents and other guests are welcome to attend bid day. However, each new member will only receive 2 wristbands for their family members to enter the chapter house for the family meeting once the amphitheater celebrations have concluded. So please note that some parent meetings will be virtual throughout that following week, and each chapter will send their own notifications. Little bit of a schedule overview for bid day on here. 2:30 parents would begin to arrive to the amphitheater. It's going to be very hot, August in Mississippi, so please make sure that you have water. And then at 3:15, the bids will be opened in the Student Union Ballroom. Again, students only in there. 3:30, the P&Ms will walk to the amphitheater, and then about 4 o'clock, the chapters will be released from the amphitheater to their houses for the bid day events. Parking on bid day is available near the Fresh Food Company cafeteria or the Welcome Center by Barnes & Noble. Please make sure that you're in a designated spot and not parking on the street or in the grass.
So, as somebody who went through recruitment at Mississippi State, participated in recruitment as a chapter member, served as a Kamikaze, did all the things, and now serving as the advisor for Panhellenic, I just want to share some advice that I have seen to be helpful over the years. So to start us off, a typical misconception that we hear is that our office or Panhellenic are the ones that extend bids to students in recruitment. That's not the case. Our job as staff at MSU is to facilitate the recruitment process that the chapters have decided on. It is not my job to decide who goes into what chapter, again, just to serve as a facilitator and advisor. With that said, I want to remind you that this is your student's experience, not yours. She's about to be making lots and lots of decisions regarding her life, and I promise you, she will enjoy the entire experience so much more, especially once the process is over, if she won't have to question if she made this decision for anyone but herself. I would also suggest to give your students space. They will not have their cell phones as much as they normally would. So if you don't hear from your student, don't freak out. Prior to the week, I would suggest maybe even having the conversation of, if you need me, call me, but this week's about you. I'll let you do your thing. If your daughter has come to you, I don't recommend talking to others about what your daughter is going through, to alumni, chapters, etc., anybody that would fall in that category. For example, if your daughter did not have a good experience with the Beta chapter, maybe don't call your friend who is a Beta alum and try to fix that yourselves. I also discourage trying to get involved by reaching out to the chapters directly. If you as a parent has a concern, please reach out to our office. My contact information is going to be on the last slide. So next, encourage her to have an open mind. So each sorority here has a place for everyone, and that's just the beauty of having such large organizations. You will have your more academically focused groups, your social butterflies, and all kinds of these different types of people in every single chapter. Each of these chapters are nationally recognized and award-winning chapters, and they're quite fabulous, if I say so myself, and we would not have them at Mississippi State if that were not the case. I would also remind her to ask the Kamikaze, exec members, me, or one of the other staff members if she has any questions or concerns. That is why we are here. The students serving in these roles have had such an intensive training leading up to recruitment, and they have voluntarily disaffiliated from their chapter to assist your daughter in this process, to really just serve as an unbiased soundboard of sorts. They take this job very seriously, and they really only want your daughter to feel loved and supported during this time. I will also say that we typically place about 92% of our women into chapters, which is extremely high compared to our peers at other institutions. But there are times where women are not extended an invitation. And so these reasons typically include academics, maybe being rude to chapter members, not seeming that interested in the chapter, so on and so forth. It's important for your daughter to know that she has to talk, put herself out there, and seem interested in all chapters so that she can be considered for an invitation. Although some women do not receive a bid during this week, we have found many women to be placed into chapters later in the year through our continuous open bidding process. And this is allowed when chapters' national organizations approve that they can extend invitations to a certain number of women. All women that go through recruitment and are not extended a bid will be considered by those limited chapters. They'll just be automatically added to our list. And that being said, just a reminder that our staff will be in and out of the office all recruitment week. So if you call the office and need something, don't be upset if someone takes your name and number to call you back, or you have to leave us a voicemail. I promise that somebody will call you back at some point. It just may not be immediately. But please know that there are never too many questions. Reach out to us if you have any concerns or see anything that raises a red flag. We want to know about them, whether it's during recruitment week or anytime following. You can call us, email us, and there's also a form on our website, greeks.mstate.edu, where you can report any concerns as well if you choose that route. I will be here on campus all next week in recruitment week with the chapters, Gamma Chi's, Panhellenic exec, but most importantly, your students. All of our top priority during this time is helping support them throughout this process. And we are so excited to do it. And now I'm going to hand it over to our Assistant Vice President of Student Affairs, Dr. Jackie Mullen. She has a
Thank you all for being here, and hopefully this has been helpful. You can see in the chat that there are options to ask us questions, and we'll stay here until every question is asked. And so I know John Michael is on there answering questions, and Abby as well. But just want to offer some, positivity and some good wishes for everyone, but also recognize that it can seem to be that for our young women that this is the most important thing to come right soon in their lives. And I just put it in the perspective that I've been at Mississippi State 15 years working with these chapters and have seen a lot over that time. And what I recognize is that many of our students place their value on this experience. And I like to, as a female, right, I like to point out that our value is so much more than the letters that we put on, we wear. And as a Panhellenic woman, I say that I'm a member of a chapter, but I also recognize there's a lot more to me than to this. And I have to put that perspective to our students a lot. I have to talk to the parents about that too. And I say that not to be preachy and not to really come from a place of love and say that letters are one thing. It's a way that we can help students find a place, find their people, right, that they can go to each day when they're having a bad day. And our chapters are made up of 300 women. And so I have students who will come to me and they are dead set on exactly what they want to be and where they want to be. I have students who also come through and they're like, you know what? I don't know anything and I don't know where I want to be. And that's great, because I say that you have to keep an open mind throughout this process. If you think and your child thinks that you're going to go in and be in this one particular chapter, I was in that same boat. I thought that and went somewhere different, became a chapter president, and now doing the role that I am and working with fraternity and sorority life and lots of other student experiences. I offer that things really work out the way that they're supposed to, but we've got to trust the system. We've got to trust the process. We feel like we have a really great process, but it's important that we also recognize that you're not going to find your best friend through this process. You're eventually going to have great friends and great friends. And I often tell them that you go to kindergarten, you meet friends on the first day of kindergarten, right? And you don't automatically become best friend with that person in kindergarten. And maybe even in high school, you talk about the friend that you met in kindergarten. But it took years for that to happen and those relationships to form. And that's still the same in sorority life, right? It's still the same that takes a process. And so I have students who will say sometimes they don't make that core group of friends. And so they have to stay in it. they can't just after 1 week say, you know what, I've not met anybody. And a part of meeting other people, right, is it's a two-way street. And so I have to say to our students all the time that you got to put yourself out there, which is courageous. And I commend students who do that, right? Going through this process in the first place is courageous as is. And we tell them that. But the second part is then you have to put work into it. You have to go to the house or to the place where they're meeting. You have to go and ask someone, can we go have coffee, or can we have lunch, or can we meet up before we go to the meeting? That takes work and that takes effort. And sometimes our students are willing to do that. I'm an introvert at heart. It takes a lot to put me in settings where everybody thinks I'm an extrovert, but I like my time, by myself. And so I recognize that not everybody wants to be, is the most bubbly, outgoing personality, and that's okay. We like all students. We have students like every personality in our chapters. And so I just encourage to stick with this process. If this is what your student wants, if they come through the process and they say, you know what, this isn't what I wanted to do, that's okay too, right? It's okay to walk away. We have a lot of experiences at Mississippi State for them to do. This isn't just the only thing, and it may sometimes feel like that, but I want to say that as the person that's responsible for student experiences at Mississippi State, there's a lot to offer. Student leadership, community engagement. Our Colbert Student Union has lots of opportunities for student worker positions. Our Center for Student Activities, wow, New Maroon Camp, all of the experiences related to involvement ambassadors, Lyceum series, Music Maker Productions, Student Association, all of these things that we are offering every day to our students. There's a lot there. And so I will have my door open all the time really, but also we will have our doors opened, particularly during this time, to hear and listen to the students. So feel free to, if they can't get to Abby because she's busy out on Sorority Row, please have them come see me in the YMCA. I'm on the second floor. Also just share that you're also happy to reach out me via phone, happy to listen and console and talk through any situations. I recognize that sometimes is helpful, but I also just want to say, be patient with this process, be open-minded about this process. I promise things work out. I've never had a student in my time in my career come to me and say that 4 years in their particular chapter was a waste of their time. And I think that's important to really think about and grasp when we go through this process, but it does take time. It doesn't happen automatically where you feel like this is your home after a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Sometimes it takes longer than that. And that's what the whole new member process, where they will start on day one of bid day all the way to. I also want to stress the importance of having conversations about not signing paperwork if you are not sure that this is a commitment, because they will start charging you the financial commitment on day one. And so you want to make sure that that there's a commitment there, that this is what you want to do, because they will send you a bill for even the amount of time that you were a part of the chapter, whether it's a day, that first day, which is a new member bid day bill, or they will send you a bill for the month or 2 months in the chapter. So just want to be upfront about that cycle starts, because again, these are student organizations and they're fully operated on their own, and they're run by students. They have advisors, they have alumni that help give them direction, but the students make the decisions, and that can be tough too. As adults, we often think we know all the decisions. I tell my son I know best, and he thinks he knows best, right? And so I have to, sometimes remind myself, even as a parent, that I have to go, you know what? He's got to make some decisions, right? And so part of this is letting them make these decisions, but also we don't, in our student organizations, we let them have this opportunity to lead. Sometimes they lead really, really great. Sometimes they fumble a little bit, and that's okay. That's part of this experience of being in a student organization, being in Greek organizations, is for that particular experience. So we're happy to answer any questions as we come through, and Abby and I and the students as well.
Yes, thank you. I would also like to take this time to just recognize our sponsor, University Screen Print, and you can visit them for bid day packages and recruitment happies throughout the week. And then this is our contact information page. You can reach us by any of these different ways. And like Abby said, we will get back to you as soon as we can. So yes, and then at this time, we'll take any questions.
There are a lot of,
So I-
there are a lot of payment questions, payment plans. So maybe from like a student perspective of how's this laid out and when do you know these things?
Yes, so each chapter is a little different. I know my chapter, we do monthly bills and we log on to our Omegafy, and it's like an app and a website, and we'll pay through that. But each chapter is a little different. So some might do semesterly and some might do monthly. Did that
So
answer
when
the
you-
question, John Michael?
Yeah. So to sort of follow up on the commitment side. So the students will go to their preference parties on the final day on that Monday, and they will go to 1 or 2 chapters, and then they will do their selection. When they do their selection there, they will sign both an electronic copy and a written copy. I always just we all like to have a backup, right? And in this, what it says is that you will accept an invitation from one of the 2 chapters. If you've only been to 1, then you'll just say that you're going to accept that 1 invitation. If you've gotten to 2, you will select 1 or 2. And when you do that, what it will do in the system, the student will read it and they'll acknowledge that they are going to accept an invitation from one of those 2 chapters. So then on bid day, if they've maximized their options, which means they select both chapters or 1 chapter if they've only been to 1 chapter on that day, then on bid day, they will get an invitation to that 1 chapter. And then they'll go and attend bid day. So starting after bid day will be the financial commitment. Now, if they attend bid day, take the bid day bag home, they will charge you for that bid day bag. So like to be clear about that. But then everything after that, so the monthly payments and those types of things will start once they've signed a paperwork talking about the financial commitment. They typically ask them they don't necessarily have to sign it on bid day, but they will sign it at their first new member meeting. And then that is where they'll be able to share that document with them. The chapters will send you a copy of what that financial commitment is, time commitment is. So you'll have some time before to be able to make sure and to discuss that. But that will then be charged to a separate account. It's not an account attached to Mississippi State. It's not through your MyState account. It is a separate account. They all do it a little different, and they will send you how you make payments to that and then explain all of that information once you're a member of the chapter. Each chapter does it different, so I don't want to tell you 9 different ways. It'll get confusing really quick, and so let the chapters tell you that, but that'll happen right after bid day. Correct. So commitment's not until the final day of recruitment. So if it's the first 2 days, the only commitment they've made at that is just the registration fee that you've already paid. So it's not unusual for students. Some students that are first-year students do not always live on campus. So do not be upset about that or freak out about that. That is, we have students who are first-year students that come to Mississippi State that do not live in our residence hall. That is not unusual. Payment is so you can do it in stages, like Cassie said. You can do it, in monthly payments, or you can pay it all at one time for the semester, or you can pay for the entire academic year. If you go to one house on preference day, even if it's just one house and you could have 2, if you go to that preference and you make your selection on that Monday, then you will be guaranteed a bid on bid day. That is correct. Abby, you want to explain about bid day packages?
Yes, so we have, and we listed our title sponsor, University Screen Print, but a lot of our local community stores, all the ones that do the bid day packages. So you can start doing those now, and we will send them the list once your students have already received their bids, and they will start working on those, and they will deliver those starting the following day after bid day. Choose our honors.
So if the student has two bids on preference, so what they'll do is they'll rank those. So they'll do 1 or 2 on that. A student can select only one of those 2, but if they do that, and want to be very upfront about that, I don't encourage it. I'm very honest with that. They actually have to come meet with one of our staff members if they do that, because what they do then is that they're not maximizing their options then. And so then they would be, they may not receive a bid on bid day. So say if you have 2 invitations on the final day, and then you say, you know what, I like one, but I don't like the other. You'll come and you'll have a chat with us. And so we'll say there, sorry, automatic lights. They'll say, you know, hey, let's talk about this. Why is that? Do you know that you may get a call from us early on Tuesday morning letting us know that you've been released from the process, which means that you have not received an invitation. So that happens if they do not, again, maximize their options. If they have been given 2 invitations to join and they only accept one of the 2. A great question.
Leslie, if you want to send me an email or your daughter send me an email, then I can accommodate her schedule to where it will not affect either one of those sessions, whichever ones that she does choose.
So I'll answer the question about the rush bags. They will have a Ziploc baggie given to them at P&M orientation on the night of the 10th, and that is their rush bag. I know that there's a lot of different institutions that do it differently, but we do it this way. That way, when your daughter goes into the houses, she doesn't have to take anything with her, and it can stay in her Ziploc baggie. That'll stay with our Gamma Chis, and we'll make sure that those stay safe. So you do not need a rush bag. Ziploc gallon size will be provided to your daughter, and she will put all of her belongings in that while she goes into the houses throughout the week.
Melinda, not a dumb question at all. Great question. If you order a bid day package beforehand, that's where they'll get that list. So really, when you're ordering the package, you're just ordering the type of package that you're going to receive. So maybe package 1 is just, for example, a sticker and a t-shirt, or I don't know, so on and so forth. And so when we send out those lists, that's when they will actually start making those bags, and that's how they'll know that it's chapter specific, if that helps.
So some suggestions to what you put in your Ziploc baggie. Little oil blotting sheets are my biggest suggestion, so that you can kind of touch up your makeup, or your daughter can touch up her makeup before she goes into the houses. Their phone will go in the baggie, maybe like a little perfume or some spray deodorant. Y'all have
Mints,
yeah,
maybe.
mints are a good one.
Some lip gloss if
Yes.
she wants to refresh, maybe some powder, just personal things that she would keep in her purse if she has one. Instead, she'll keep it in the Ziploc bag, just whatever she needs to feel comfortable going in and spending most of the day on sorority row. She can also bring a water bottle that doesn't have to fit inside of her Ziploc bag, but she can also bring a water bottle.
Yes. And exec Gamma Chis will also have things like Band-Aids on us. So if there were to be a situation where your daughter may need a Band-Aid, she can find a staff member as well. Sorry, Jackie.
Well, I'm just saying our honors convocation have different sessions. And so what they typically ask is that if they do have a conflict, that they'll just attend a different session. But you can also send any schedule conflicts to Abby Buck at abuck@saffairs.msstate.edu. Abby sent also an email out about bid day packages and the businesses. And so we just encourage you to visit those local businesses in Starkville, and you can see there's lots of great places that can help you, and just depends on what you're looking for. And so that's within there. Yes, they will do a refund. You can also wait till closer to the time if you wanted to see how the week is going and order it closer to bid day. They'll be ready and prepared. They've gotten pretty good about that, or they'll let you know that they can't accommodate you and you can go to another business. So just being mindful of that. They will get their first schedule during their orientation with their Gamma Chi's when they introduce, so that they can know where their first all the 9 chapters that they'll go to that day. And you can purchase. Some of the businesses are online, or you can just call and they'll do all of it over the phone as well. So just again, visit that email. If you didn't get the email, send Abby Buck an email as well, and she can help you there. There was also a question about, yes, being on sorority row and the moving around. So the schedules may spread out. I always encourage for them to not silence their phones, and also not make sure, because some of our students will fall asleep and miss their rounds. And so that's really important, because that becomes really complicated for them if they miss a party and we have to reschedule that. The chapters will, they get a little upset with us if we move people around. And so if they do leave sorority row, which is fine, if they have a long break, encourage them to go, eat in the cafeteria, move around, but try not to go take large naps, because that's what happens when some students oversleep. So that's where the alarm clocks and having somebody to help them keep them together, that's always helpful.
So
Yeah.
I will send,
Yeah.
oop,
Go ahead. About the Zoom.
oh, now I've gotten lost. I was gonna say, I will send a follow-up email with a recording to this meeting, and then also include our sponsors again. And so we'll include, that's gonna be where you can get your bid day packages if you're interested. Or John Michael just posted them in the comments. Thank you, JMV.
Transfer students, we place upperclassmen students in our Greek organizations all of the time. And so that is not, transfer students are placed just like first year students. So I always encourage our transfer students, because we have a lot of transfer students who come to Mississippi State, and our students, our chapters really like their leadership and their experience. And so that is definitely, they're being placed for sure.
Tina, to answer your question about each Zoom, so there will probably be around 40 to 50 young women on each Zoom with chapter members, but they're not going to be talking to all those people. They will be sent out in breakout rooms and talking either individually or maybe to a couple of people at a time in those Zoom parties. And then for your emails, for the follow-up email, I pulled your email list. I pulled the emails that your student listed as the parent guardian email.
Yes, so the nighttime walking, so at the very end of the night, when it's the very last party of the day, they all walk over together back to the residence hall. So that's actually a really fun experience for the women, because then that's where they get to really meet a lot of people coming to and from the sorority row. So that happens, and we definitely try to end before it gets dark outside. But that's a great question too.
Bridget,
Okay, so speaking about, oh, sorry.
you're good. Go ahead, Abby.
About Gamma Chi's reaching out to their groups. Gamma Chi's will call your daughters on Monday, August 7th. So your daughters, again, will be receiving a phone call from their Gamma Chi on Monday, August 7th. No one has been reached out to yet, so don't worry if your daughter hasn't gotten a message from her Gamma Chi. That won't happen until Monday, August 7th, and then they will meet their Gamma Chi's in person at that P&M orientation on August 10th.
Cassidy, you want to share some tips about, she is a student that got to experience sorority recruitment all through the virtual process. So say your roommate is also having a Zoom call at the same time. I know you had to do it the whole week. So could you tell us what that looks like and some strategies for getting through that on the first day?
Yes, ma'am. So we all went through fall 2020 recruitment, and it was a blast. I personally think some strategies for my roommate and I having parties or conversations at the same time. Definitely headphones. That way it stays in your daughter's ears and the microphone can pick up her voice and hopefully kind of eliminate some background noises. If that's not an option, or your daughter still feels like she can't hear well, I know some people have gone into the bathroom, so they will go into the bathroom and shut the door, and then the other roommate will stay in the room on the other side. Or if the bathroom is not connected to their room, you can go down the hallway sometimes. Again, headphones would be good in the hallway too, just so that there isn't any background noise, and hopefully you can stay focused on your conversation. We know that it's happening, that your roommate, like you and them and their roommate may be on the same. Oh, sorry. Oh, no, you're good. And it's also happening with our members on the other side. They might be have their roommate 2 seats down on a call as well. So they're definitely gonna work with you. And if someone can't hear the other, there's a chat option, and we'll be able to hopefully get that all situated during the party times.
Contact Abby.
Do we have any
So
more?
none of our Gamma Chi's have reached out to any of the PNMs yet. So that again will happen on August 7th. And if your daughter does not answer because they don't have their Gamma Chi's phone number, so it will just be a random number calling them, that's totally normal. Most of the time they don't answer. The Gamma Chi's will leave a voicemail that say, call me back. They will also text the girl as well. So if your daughter does not answer her phone, it's okay. She will get a voicemail and she will also get a text message, but she does need to contact her Gamma Chi as soon as possible after she receives that phone call and voicemail.
So right now, the students the chapters have not set what their new member classes will be, and they will release that information. That's part of what the chapters ask of us, is that they get to release that information on their own individual chapters. So they will be able to share that throughout the week if they want to, but they'll definitely be able to let you know that on bid day what their new member class is. Great questions. If she hasn't received an email, send Abby an email about that as well. Again, check their email, check their junk mail, trash mail section. That's also important. Email John Michael too for help with the housing questions. Y'all got some good questions. Y'all came prepared. It's going to be a great week. Enjoy visiting with all of you. And if we can help further, just let us know. I think we answered all the questions. Historically, our chapter sizes have been anywhere between 70 to 90. So, so no, not between 50 and 60, no. That's in the past. We'll see what this new year. 918 students is a lot. It's our biggest class ever. So we're really excited about that.
Recommendation letters are not required, but they definitely don't hurt. So you can look at the different national websites for more information and how to submit those. But those will all be through the national organizations. So they are not required, but if you have a really good family friend and she wants to write your daughter a recommendation, she definitely is more than welcome to do that.
Chapters just ask for them prior to getting started. The sooner the better for those letters if you have something to share. So yeah. Great.
Well, thank you all for joining us. If there's anything that comes up throughout the day, and then we'll answer last couple of questions here right after. But if anything comes up between now and then, again, throughout the week or after, please reach out. We are here to help. It's our job. Like Jackie said, we're looking forward to a great week. So thank you guys for joining us. And like I said, we'll answer last couple of things. Can the letters come from
The bid day bags are typically, that's all included in your dues, but typically it's in the $100-ish range, between $100 and $150. So they loop that into the bid, but if they take the bag and they leave and don't return it, then they'll charge them for the bag if they only come to bid day. So, but hopefully before they do that, they'll come see me. So make them come see me, right? Please do that as a parent. Don't let them just leave without really talking it through and letting us talk about options. At least let us have a chance to chat with them. We would appreciate that.
Recommendation letters can come from any former chapter member. It doesn't have to be a Mississippi State alumni. It can be from any of those. All right.
Great.
I think that wraps us up. So thank you guys again. We appreciate it, and we are looking forward to a great week. So
Thank you all.